Lily was a quiet child, almost eerily so. She observed the world with wide, watchful eyes. Her silences were vast, her words few.
Was she happy?
Her parents, Sarah and David, often exchanged worried glances. Lily preferred the company of her toys. She crafted intricate worlds in the solitude of her room. With her dolls and stuffed animals, she spun tales of princesses and dragons, of talking animals and magical forests. These were her companions, her confidants.
In their silence I find solace.
Her imagination blossomed in the quiet corners of their small apartment, but change was coming. A change that would stir the silence and awaken something in the shadows. The house on Harbinger Lane stood shrouded in an unsettling stillness. Looming gables cast long skeletal fingers of shadow across the overgrown lawn. The air itself felt heavy, burdened with unseen memories.
A chance to escape the city, to provide Lily with a garden to run in, a swing set to conquer.
David had jumped at the opportunity. Sarah, however, felt a shiver of unease. The house felt like a watchful thing, its empty windows like vacant eyes.
This place, it just feels off.
Lily, ever the observer, stood at the edge of the overgrown garden. She tilted her head as if listening to a secret whispered on the wind. A small, almost imperceptible smile played on her lips.
Hello!
The whispers began subtly. Lily would giggle at seemingly nothing, her eyes sparkling with secret amusement. She began leaving an empty chair at the dinner table, a place set for an unseen guest.
The friend.
At first, Sarah and David brushed it off as an active imagination. Children Lily's age often had imaginary friends. But there was something different about Lily's friend, a disquieting intensity in her voice when she spoke of him.
The friend likes to play hide and seek. He says I'm very good at hiding. He says I should hide more often.
A chill snaked down Sarah's spine. This was not child's play. The rules began innocently enough. Lily could no longer play with certain toys.
The friend doesn't like them.
Her voice was devoid of its usual childish inflection. Then the rules became stranger, more unsettling. Lily refused to leave her room at night.
The friend says it's not safe.
She whispered, her eyes wide with an unnerving maturity. She insisted on leaving her bedroom window open, even on the coldest nights.
The friend likes the breeze.
One afternoon, Sarah found Lily meticulously arranging pebbles in the garden, a furrow in her brow.
What are you doing, sweetheart?
She asked gently. Lily's reply sent a jolt of fear through her.
The friend says they have to be in order. He doesn't like it when things are messy.
Doubt gnawed at Sarah. Lily's behavior was no longer the whimsical fancies of childhood. There was a disturbing edge to her, a chilling certainty in her pronouncements.
David, I'm really worried about Lily. Something's not right.
She's just playing, Sarah. Kids have active imaginations. It'll pass.
But Sarah couldn't shake the growing sense of dread that coiled in her stomach. Lily's behavior grew increasingly erratic. She would erupt in fits of anger, her small face contorted with a fury that belied her age. Her once bright eyes were now shadowed, her gaze distant and unsettlingly cold. Sarah knew with a mother's intuition that something was terribly wrong. The demands escalated. The friend, it seemed, was not content with mere rules. He craved control, his grip tightening around Lily's young life like a vice. His requests became more bizarre, more sinister.
The friend says I shouldn't eat today.
Her voice was flat and emotionless. Another time, she took a pair of scissors to her hair, hacking away at her once lustrous locks until they hung in uneven clumps around her face.
The friend likes it short.
Her eyes glinted with a disturbing light. The once vibrant child was fading, her spirit slowly being consumed by an unseen force. Sarah watched in horror as her daughter, her sweet Lily, slipped further away each day, her essence leached away by the insidious entity that called itself her friend. The tension in the house on Harbinger Lane was as thick and heavy as the humid summer air. Arguments erupted between Sarah and David with increasing frequency. Sarah, desperate to save her daughter, pleaded for them to seek professional help.
We need to get help, David. This is beyond us.
We're not labeling our daughter because of an imaginary friend.
His voice was tight with frustration. He saw Sarah's fear as paranoia, her concerns as an overactive imagination. The house, once a symbol of hope and a fresh start, had become a battleground, two parents united by love for their daughter, but torn apart by fear and disbelief. And all the while, Lily, their beloved daughter, slipped further into the clutches of the entity that whispered in her ear, that controlled her every move. The storm broke on a night of howling wind and torrential rain. Lily, her eyes glowing with an unnatural light, stood precariously on the edge of the roof.
The friend wants to fly.
Her voice was barely audible above the raging tempest. Panic seized Sarah and David. For the first time, David saw the terrifying truth in his daughter's vacant eyes. This was not a game, not an overactive imagination. This was something evil, something insidious, holding their daughter captive. As David edged closer, his heart pounding in his chest, Lily turned. For a fleeting moment, her eyes flickered, a flicker of recognition, of fear, of her true self trapped beneath the entity's control, and then just as quickly it was gone, replaced by the chillingly vacant stare of the friend. The events that unfolded that night on the roof of the old house on Harbinger Lane remained shrouded in whispers and shadowed memories. Some things, Sarah would later say, were best left unspoken. The house remained, a stark reminder of the terror that had gripped their lives. But Lily was free. The entity, the parasitic spirit that had fed on her innocence, was gone. Or so they hoped. Even now, years later, when the wind howled through the eaves and the shadows grew long, Sarah would sometimes hear it, a whisper, faint and chilling, carried on the breeze.
Let's play hide and seek.
And Sarah would shiver, clutching her daughter close, forever haunted by the echo of the friend.